Hello, you guys. Welcome to my new YouTube channel, Essential Time and Solutions, named after my business. I'm so happy that you have stopped by to join me for this candid conversation with Nichelle of Compare Consulting, which is a virtual assistant company. So we'll get started. So if you don't know, my name is Dalynn. I'm the owner of Essential Time and Solutions, which is a virtual assistant and business consulting firm. And I mainly handle administrative virtual assistant tasks as well as technical VA tasks. So we'll get started. I'm gonna let Nichelle introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her company, and then we'll jump right into this interview. So welcome, Nichelle. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, Dalynn, how you doing, girl?
I'm good. So
Yeah.
go ahead, tell the people who you are and tell us a little bit about your business.
All right. So, hey, everyone in YouTube land. My name is Nichelle. I'm the owner of Compare Consulting, and I'm a virtual assistant. However, I wear many hats just like Dalynn. We do administrative, technical support, customer support, community support, course management. And I recently have started diving into event director, a position in that nature, and I'll explain that a little bit later. But I will say, once you start becoming a VA, you might find yourself doing things that you might not have imagined or forecasted or thought. And with that, the business has just continuously grown and grown and grown, and it'll keep growing. So, I'm a virtual assistant, but like I said, we wear a lot of different hats. And I'm just really happy to be here with you today, so we could talk about a little bit more about what a VA is and, all the good things that we have planned.
Absolutely. So, as she said, we wear a lot of hats, we do a lot of things. So, typically, when we get clients, they say, hey, what is your niche? What do you like to do? Or, they may say, what tasks do you do? And I'm like, well, it's easier for you to tell me what
Yes.
you need done and let me tell you if I can do it, because the area of being a virtual assistant is so broad. There's so many things that fall under VA. There's real estate virtual assistants, there's podcast virtual assistants, there are notary virtual assistants. So VAs can fall in a broad range
Yeah.
of niches. So some people, they will only deal with real estate, as an example. Some people will deal with any type of business. As for me, I deal with any business, because for me, business is business. The goal is to start and end at the finish line. So everybody's objective is to obtain clients, get them in your funnel, sell your client, and then keep them in your funnel, to have them as your have them as continually have them as a client, is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah.
what is it like day to day being a virtual assistant? Is every day the same? Is it different? Tell us a little bit how your day goes from day to day.
So, just to piggyback earlier, I just really want to highlight on the flexibility of being a virtual assistant, whether it is changing up the different type of services that you provide, or having a different or a range of clients that you work with. You really are never boxed in. And that's one thing I really enjoy about being a virtual assistant is you could work with one client for email management, you could work with another client with course management or, administrative support. So you don't ever really get bored. There's always like a fire of something changing, adjusting. Of course, you still have consistency with working with the same client, for an extended period of time, or for I call for like project management while a duration of while that project is actually happening. So that is what's really awesome about being a VA. It's consistent, but it's always evolving and changing, especially once you come into your client's life, you literally take them to the next level, just by being that support system. So for me, typically what I'm working towards is to work Monday through Friday. And I know a lot of times we'll hear like you need to have a restriction on when you work, but I will say when you're first starting out, you have to find balance. A lot of coaches and business owners will say you have to be very stringent, but they are stringent within their time frames because they grind it in the beginning. And you have to really pour into your business on a daily basis so that people know you. So brand awareness, they know who you are, what you do, who you provide your services to. You have to make sure that that message is extremely well, laid out. So then you can get to that point to where you can show up Monday through Friday from a set period of time. But like right now, we're in grind mode. And, once we get to that point, perfect. So as of now, and hopefully I'll watch this later and be like, girl, we is not working 24/7. But I prayed for my business to grow and it did. And so sometimes we pray for things and we think we're ready, and then it happens to fall in our hands. And so now we have to kind of pick up the pieces and find that balance again. So as of now, like on a daily basis, I wake up and there are certain things that I have scheduled as an alarm on my phone to notify me, okay, let's work on this task for this hour. Then you have a meeting, and then we have scheduled time to share about our business, like how we are here now, because of course, as we pour into our other business owners' business, we have to continuously pour into ours as well if we want it to grow. So that's very key. And so there just be a collection of meetings where we set the expectation, okay, for this week, this is what I would like us to handle and cover. And of course, our clients understand that they have us for a specific time period of the week. So whether that's 10 hours, 15, 25, whatever you need us to do, it needs to be able to happen within that time frame. Anything over that is abuse. Okay. So
it is not in the contract.
It's not in the contract. You are breaching the contract. And we are human, we have families, and I know we'll talk about that as well. So it's very important to have boundaries, but for the most part, on a weekly basis, it's meeting with clients and getting an understanding, okay, what is their goal? Of course, as business owners, we have a tendency to see things in their own business like, you should be doing this. I see you're on this track, but we have to remember whatever they say they want to do this week, that's what we're going to do.
Right. You have to remember that it is their business. You're just
their
there to
business.
assist.
Yes, even though we're extremely invested, we want to see them win. Remember, it's their business. So give them the room to let us know as VAs what they would like to do. So usually in the beginning of the week, we set that standpoint. And then throughout the week, I'm just working continuously, balancing the workload between my separate clients. And so by the end of the week, we can say, yay, we got everything done. These are our results. This is how we can improve. And this is, things to look forward for the next week. So in the gist, a lot more goes into it, but that's the pretty part of it. It's
right.
Just, the balance of understanding what their goals are for the week, and then putting an action plan together, and then just executing and then reviewing at the end of the week or in the next session that we have.
I agree. One thing that you said that you pray, for the clients to come, basically. And I like to tell people when I work with them, make sure that you are praying for an increase of business, but also pray for clarity and strategy to be able to handle those that come into your business. And if you have to begin to grow an agency, then that's what you have to do. And basically having a virtual assistant agency is where you have other VAs work under you and you assign clients to them. So that's what an agency is. And then also a good thing that helps with being a virtual assistant is time blocking. So I like to review my week on Sundays. Actually, I like to do it on Saturday, but I like to review the upcoming week. What do my clients have launching? Is it a course? Is it just, new marketing material? Is it maybe like a new product, if you work for e-commerce, those kinds of things. What is coming up that week that's important? And then I time block by priority for that week. So time blocking is very, very important. As Nichelle says, she has an alarm set that way when it goes off, then she knows to stop and go to the next task, those kinds of things. All right. So I know that we both are mompreneurs. So actually I had a 9-to-5. When I first started my virtual assistant agency, it was basically freelance. So I did have a 9-to-5, and we'll have a full YouTube video about that coming up in a couple weeks. But I left my job. March the 14th was my last day. And now I do my virtual assistant business full time. So I am basically a mompreneur. My little one is in school. However, I typically pick him up around 3:30, but in the fall he goes to school full time, which still means he gets out at 2:30. So, somebody still kind of has to be there to kind of pick up the pieces, unless we put him in an after school program, those kinds of things. However, I like to pick him up whenever school gets out, just so that he can have a mental relaxed period before he goes on to like whatever his afternoon activities, which is typically sports or karate.
Yeah.
So what is it like being a mompreneur since starting your VA business?
Girl, that's a whole lifetime story. So I have 2 boys. My oldest, he just turned 3. My second will turn 2 in July. And when I first started my business, they were both in the house. Of course, I have my husband. He runs his own business as well. So we basically would have to work with each other around meetings. I've taken meetings in my garage, while the kids are in the house, or I'll step out. I've had mommy, I want ice cream during my meetings and things of that nature. So it's not always pretty, because when you're working from home, you're trying to start your business as a mompreneur. You want to make sure you set the professional, professional foundation. Because even for business owners, like say for myself, if I'm working with you, I don't want to hear your kids crying in the background, because I can tell that you're distracted. And so you want to be able to do both. So how do you do both? You just have to pretty much plan your work around your family, not the other way around. So I just knew that I wanted to take my business to the next level. Of course, I prayed on it, and I was like, I really want to get the kids into daycare. And we were able to do that when it made sense, when I was able to, basically scale my business to where it's at right now. It made sense to put them in daycare, but, everybody doesn't have that, I'll say that blessing, if you are, working from home and the kids are there. So thankfully I was like, I just got to keep hustling until it made sense. So, at first it was difficult, and our family does travel a lot. So a lot of times I'm working on the road. The kids are in the back, husband's driving. I'm typing things out until we get to our next next destination. At home, I'm waking up early for 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning so that I can get things done before they wake up, because they want cuddles and they need to eat and they want to play. And, we want to make sure they're engaged. So we're outside. So sometimes I'm on my patio doing work. Sometimes I have to bring a chair out into the middle of the backyard so that I can see that they're running back and forth, having fun, but I can still get stuff done. I mean, at the end of the day, by any means necessary. And so now they're in daycare and I can focus, get all these things done. I know that they're engaged and they're taken care of. And once they come home, I can love on them all day without being pulled away for work. And that's something that I think we all struggle with, is just mommy guilt. Like, am I giving them enough time? Do I have enough time to get my own work done? How am I going to make everything just be in balance or just unity? And, it's an everyday battle. But I think all mompreneurs kind of go through that, just trying to find that balance. And I think that we should give ourselves grace because we balance so much. And on the outside, it looks very effortless, almost like second nature, pat on our back.
Right.
But just give ourselves grace because, like, girl, you did all of that. You know what I'm saying? And your kids are happy.
Yeah.
They're enjoying themselves. They're safe. And then you're able to pour into your clients' lives. And a lot of my clients are mothers. So I know that when I pour into them, they pour back into me. It's just continuously. We're just going to that next level. So
yeah, I agree. And I think having moms as clients makes the job easier too, because they understand. So if somebody's crying in the background or like, mommy, they're like, oh, how's the kid doing? Things like that. I do think that makes it easier, because they pretty much understand and like they've been there to grow their business. And I think also listening to Nichelle talk about, working from the patio or working on the road, I've done all of that myself. I think that's the great thing about being a virtual assistant is the flexibility that comes with it. Because of course you are 100% remote. You can have a client in California, you can be on the East Coast.
Yep.
I know because I have clients on the West Coast and I'm on the East Coast, but the flexibility about being a virtual assistant is what's so important, because you can literally work from anywhere at any time, as long as your client's tasks are being completed. And we'll talk about project management and task completion at another time. But basically, where your clients assign you basically a simple to-do list, and you go down that list and get those tasks done. And I think that's the great thing about being a virtual assistant. I do not coach people on how to be a virtual assistant. When my business consulting, I do business strategy and accountability calls with VAs, to coach them through their business, but I don't do any teaching on how to become a VA. But if that is something that you're interested in, I will put the link down in the description of the course that I took with the discount code. I think it gives you like 80% off or something. So
I've been through the
very
course
worth it.
It's the truth.
Yeah, we went through the same course.
That's how we met. It's the truth. Like it got us to where we are now. So
yeah, I think when I got the course, it was $97. And my first client was a 4-figure client. So like the course literally paid for itself, times 10.
You have to invest. I mean, even now I continue to invest into, other courses, other boot camps, because there's always going to be information that you don't have access to. And sometimes you have to pay to play.
Right. I agree.
So definitely. And yeah, my bad, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like you do have to invest into yourself, because if not, you're going to be in the same position that you were, because there's just certain things that you can't Google.
Right. I agree. And just to talk a little bit about, what I like to teach on or what I like to coach on, for new entrepreneurs, is definitely about your systems when setting up a business. How to set up your customer relationship management system, how to set up an expense tracking system or payment processing system, how to create content for your social media, how to automate that content, how to create your websites, how to do, what's another thing that I teach people on during our coaching calls? So much stuff. Anything technical related is what I actually teach on. And actually, I was getting so many questions in my DMs that I decided to go ahead and create an ebook. It's called Let's Talk Systems, and it's an ebook plus workbook. So it's completely fillable. If you're interested in that, it's only $27. I will also put the link down in the description box. But I feel like when you get into this industry, you will become so good in one area, a lot of people will then kind of flock to you to kind of like get consulted or, pick your brain or, how did you do this? How do I set this up? Can you show me how to do this? And after a while, you'll get so many of those questions. You're like, let me just create like an ebook or a guide or something like that, just to walk people through it. Um, and the goal is not to get rich on it. However, you do kind of want to be paid for the knowledge that you have.
Yeah,
So,
and you
um,
also don't have time to be talking to every
yes.
single person about the same thing. So that's where, creating that little package of it, whether it's ebook or a course. So that way you can spread the wealth of knowledge, because
Mhm.
that's definitely something like if you're just coming off the street and you're like, okay, I want to be a VA, like you don't even have any systems to onboard a client,
Mhm.
to send invoices, how to even send the invoice, how to keep track of, say your projects that you're working on for each individual client. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? You're literally immersing yourself into individual businesses that have different separate needs. So you have to be able to systemize it, automate it, and have, things set in place so that way things aren't falling into the cracks. Because
Right.
that happens, you're gonna be out of a client. And
Exactly. Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
so
And I
that,
do think being in this industry, you'll find what works for you and what becomes your specialty. And I'm telling you, your business will grow. If you are just starting out as an entrepreneur and you think that your business won't grow, the clients are pretty much waiting on you to hit start. So, Nichelle, what advice would you give a up and coming entrepreneur when it comes to starting their business, or if they are just in beginning stages?
so when it comes to being a VA, I would definitely say every VA does not have to be a social media manager.
I'm
Um,
not.
I don't like it. I sometimes end up falling very slightly to just provide a little bit of support, but that is not a service that I would provide because it's just not my thing. So my advice is to really look at what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, and then marketing those specific skills. So if you know you can respond to some emails and follow up with people, then that's something that you would market as a email manager. I've had a lot of people ask me about project management and program management. It's just, like I said, I'm at that point where I'm growing and I have to make sure I zero in on each one of my clients before I have the threshold to teach someone. I know what I'm doing, but I need to make sure that I can transfer that over into actually teaching someone else, because you can be good at something doesn't mean you're a good teacher. So
Absolutely.
I'm not
Absolutely.
saying I'm not a good teacher, but just in that specific area, I would want to make sure that it's mapped out, explained step by step. So that way, once you got the information, please go soar and collect them coins. So just make sure that you're doing something that you absolutely enjoy, because when it gets down to the wire and you're tired and you're overwhelmed and you are trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to make all these things happen? Passion is going to help you pull through, So I know there are times that I fall asleep in my computer, um, because I'm like, I have to get this done. Maybe things popped up during the day that, took me away from doing what I had to do, but I'm like, I have to get this done. And that was pure passion that got me to that finish point. So, um, I don't recommend getting to that point, but it happens. Like as a business owner, there are going to be times where you fall asleep working, but it's good to just identify that and then, just make sure that you're having good time management. But yeah, just make sure that you're passionate about what you're doing, because at times the money is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yeah.
just being honest. Like sometimes money is not enough. Sometimes we do more than what our clients expected. And that's a lot of times that's just passion, because you're just like, oh, I gotta throw a little sauce on it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So just make sure you enjoy doing it. Don't be a cookie cutter VA.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever idea that you see, say if you see somebody really shining as maybe they're a bookkeeping VA, or maybe they're an event planner VA, or maybe they're social media. If that's their thing and they're like really doing well at it, that's because that's something that they really enjoy. So by you trying to copy what they're doing, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't like this. And then you're gonna want to quit. So do what you love. This is your business. You don't create your business to fit someone else's.
Mm,
Your business.
that's
So
good.
just make sure that it's something like what I noticed a lot of people that I've talked to when they became VAs, they're like, what do I do? What client should I get? I'm like, this is your business. You tell them who you're trying to work with. You know what I'm saying? So
But then that
um,
goes back to having clarity too.
have clarity, know why you started your business, know who you want to work with, know why you want to work with them, know in the like down the road, if you could take them from point A to point B, how would you do it?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
you're literally presenting yourself as a solution to a business's problem,
Mm-hmm.
not that business has a problem, I need to solve it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
It
So
makes sense to me, definitely. And that would be the advice that I would give too, is just going in knowing what problem it is that you can solve, because being a business owner, you are the solution to whatever the problem is, to whatever your customer may be, or to that particular industry that you want to work with. So knowing, how can you solve those problems? Also,
mhm,
you are going to hear me say this time and time again on this channel, all about clarity. Go into this business asking for clear vision, getting clarity. Also, when you get started in business, take out a piece of paper and a pen and literally write down everything that you are good at. That will help you to strategize and know exactly what business you want to start. And some days, I'll be honest, the passion is just not going to be there. It's going to be like, let me get to work, let me get this stuff done, and let me go about my business. Because there are going to be days, just like on a 9 to 5, where you are just not going to be feeling it. And guess what? That is okay. You are human. I think
mhm,
the last 3.5, 4 weeks, I've now started my mornings working out. So
mhm,
from 8 to 9, I'm unavailable. I am going to work out because that helps me with my mental health. And, I didn't leave a 9 to 5 to start a business and still not be healthy mentally.
mhm.
Um, so just take all of
That's
that stuff
hard.
into consideration. Leaving a 9 to 5 and becoming an entrepreneur, it doesn't mean that you get rid of the headaches that you may have had at a 9 to 5. Sometimes they may increase. However, now that you are your boss, you have to figure out how to navigate those types of situations. That's
Yeah.
my dog.
I can't even hear her. But
Okay.
just to I want to touch a quick point where you said that you left your 9 to 5. Um, there are people who are VAs who still work their 9 to 5. There are VAs who never worked 9 to 5 and they just started becoming a VA. There are VAs, so you can fit being a VA into your life no matter what your situation is. You don't have to quit your 9 to 5. That was just your choice. You got to a point and you said, hey, I'm ready. This part of my life is, I'm transitioning away from it. And so everybody's story as a VA is going to be different. So I think, we don't want to ever have people feeling like once you start your business, you have to quit whatever you're doing before. It's all about finding balance, find what works for you, and just going with the flow that way. But you'll notice like once you become an entrepreneur, you're just like, okay, I'll just say for me, like at this point in my life, I can't see me going back to a 9 to 5 because it doesn't make sense. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I can I can dictate how much money I make. I can dictate how many clients I have. I can dictate how long I work, when I won't work. Um, and of course, like I still respond and answer to my clients, but it's still my business.
Right.
And I'm also at a point where I I set myself up to where I have my own benefits. And even as a business owner, what people don't know, I'm just put a plug in there real quick. When you get a business line for your phone, your bill is cheaper versus a personal, like a regular phone plan.
Mm-hmm.
you get a business plan, like I think we have like 6 lines on there for like a little bit over $100
Mhm.
versus beforehand it was like 300 something dollars. So I still have to look into the healthcare, but I believe business healthcare plans are cheaper than um, you know,
Yeah, you can just
normal.
go and research the Affordable Healthcare Act to get insurance as a entrepreneur for sure.
Exactly. So
So there's
um
resources out there for
there's
you
resources.
as
You're
an
not just out
entrepreneur.
here like Wild Wild West. I own my business, so I'm all alone. Like there are definitely benefits financial to, starting your business. But if you are in a 9 to 5 that has a good healthcare plan and that is a motivating factor for you to keep it, then you know what I'm saying. But don't ever feel like once you come online, because everybody has different experiences, make sure you make the best choice for you and your family and the future, whatever future idea that you have in mind, just make sure that it's in alignment with that.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
So, Nichelle, thank you so much for joining me today for this first YouTube video, the official one. She will definitely be back. You'll see her more often. But if you could leave the audience with one piece of advice, what would it be?
So one piece of advice, I'm gonna always say just have grace for yourself. I always look at people as the little person that they were before they became adults. And I feel like it helps me understand and be kind because everybody has different upbringings, different experiences. So I think if we can always remember that, these are just little tiny humans that grew up and have that same feeling towards ourselves, we won't be as hard on ourselves that we normally are. And you'll actually unlock a lot of your potential just by showing yourself grace because, okay, I messed up, but I can do better next time versus I messed up, I give up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this went wrong. That must mean it's not for me. No, it's just that it wasn't right at that moment, but that moment
Right.
for me. So I think if we can get over that mental barrier of this is only the level of success that I can have at this moment, you'll just unlock all your potential and you'll be in a better place. So that is my word of advice. Just be graceful to yourself, the people around you, your environment, and you'll receive that back 10 times more.
I totally agree. And my one piece of advice would be to grow at your own pace.
Mhm.
Don't allow the influence of social media or your friends that may be business owners to influence your growth and how fast that goes. Grow at your own pace. And that would be my word of advice. Nichelle, thank you again for joining me today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Essential Time and Solutions, and we will see you on the next video. Take care and have an amazing day.